Hello everyone, my name is basically Jahara C. Muhammad and my topic today was all about alkynes. So before we dive in sa ating tatlong main topic, alamin muna natin is ano nga ba yung alkyne. So alkyne is a type of hydrocarbon that contains at least one carbon-to-carbon triple bond. Alkynes are unsaturated compounds, meaning they have fewer hydrogen atoms compared to saturated hydrocarbons like alkane, which only have a single bond between carbon atoms. And the simplest alkyne, which is C is triple bond to C, single bond to H, called acetylene. Acetylene once widely used in industry as the starting material for the preparation of acetaldehyde, acetic acid, vinyl chloride, and other high-volume chemicals. But more efficient routes to these substances using acetylene as starting material are now available. Acetylene is still used in the preparation of acrylic polymers, but is probably best known as the gas burned in high-temperature oxyacetylene welding torches. In addition to simple alkynes with one triple bond, research is also being carried out on polyenes. And it is a linear carbon chains of sp hybridized carbon atoms. This polyenes is characterized by alternating carbon-to-carbon triple bond and single bond have been detected in interstellar space. Now we have the basic knowledge of alkyne. Let's proceed to our first topic, which is the naming of alkynes. So, in naming the alkyne, almost same lang din sila sa pag-name natin sa isa sa hydrocarbons like alkene. Ang pinaka-main difference lang nila is that ang suffix na ginagamit natin sa alkyne is Y and E, and ang alkene naman is E and E. Of course, it involves the several steps na nakabase tayo sa IUPAC or International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So here, meron akong nilist dito, no? So number 1 is identify the longest carbon chain with a triple bond. Number 2, number the carbon chain. Number 3, name the parent chain, which is yung suffix nga ang ginagamit natin dito is yung mga "-ine", right? And number 4 is indicate the position of the triple bond. Here, ang kailangan natin dito is sa pagbibilang ng ating parent chain, dapat naka-include dito yung triple bond, and dapat yung triple bond na to is siya yung makakakuha siya ng pinaka-lowest number. And number 5 is add any substituent. Ito na yung mga methyl, ethyl, no? Or yung mga halogen like fluoro, chloro, bromo, and etc. And number 6 is combine the parts of the name. So here may example tayo dito na alkyne molecule, and paano ba natin ito siya i-name. So first, i-identify natin kung saan yung longest carbon chain, which is obviously naman ito lang din, and ina-number natin ito siya. So 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, yung longest carbon chain is same lang din siya sa parent chain ng isang alkyne molecule. If nabilang na natin ito siya, so 4, it means magkakaroon siya ng name na bute. And after that, i-identify natin kung saan naka-indicate yung position ng alkyne, which is 2-ine. That's why meron na tayong name na bute 2-ine, or if kung gusto nyo, pwede rin siyang tawagin 2-butene. So another example na naman tayo ng alkyne molecule here, and itong example na to is isa to siya sa mga example ng isang terminal alkyne. Bakit? Kasi yung alkyne niya is nagsimula siya sa pinakauna or sa pinakagilid ng isang alkyne. So So first, i-identify natin yung longest carbon chain, and after that, here is the longest carbon chain. So after that, ina-number natin ito siya. So here medyo what if pwede ba tayong mag-number dito sa right? The answer is hindi pwede, kasi ang alkyne natin is dapat makuha niya na number is yung pinaka lowest number as much as possible. So that's why magna-numbering tayo dito sa left side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after natin nabilang yung longest carbon chain or yung parent chain, 5 means magkakaroon tayo ng pent. And after that, indicate natin kung saan yung position ng alkyne natin, which is 1 ine. And if ipagsama-sama lang natin ito siya, pwede natin siyang tawaging pent-1 ine, or mas madali 1 pentine. Okay, another example of alkyne molecule. Here, meron tayong isang substituent. And of course, ibibilangin natin ito siya in a way na mas maliit yung makukuhang number ng ating alkyne. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, bakit nga ba nag-start tayo dito at hindi dito? If magsa-start tayo dito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 yung alkyne natin. So, instead sa mas mababa, 2. That's why, pipili natin yung nasa right. So, by the way, this is the parent chain. So, name ng parent chain natin is hept. And indicate natin kung saan yung nakaposition yung alkyne natin, which is 2 ine. And saan nakaposition yung ating substituent na methyl, 6-methyl. So, i-combine lang natin sila. So, pangalan niya is mauna talaga yung substituent, which is 6-methyl 2-hep. Okay, heptane. And if pwede rin siyang pangalanan na ganito, 6-methyl hep-2ine. Either way, magkaparehas lang din yan sila. So, another example of alkyne molecule. Same lang din sila sa nauna kong example. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is hindi lang siya naka-line structure. So, ganun pa rin. Hanapin natin kung saan yung longest chain, which is ito lang din siya. And longest chain or parent chain. So, after that, bibilangin muna natin, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 8 ang carbon ng carbon chain natin. So, isa siyang oct. And indicate natin kung saan yung position ng alkyne natin, which is sa number 3. 3 ine. And meron tayo ditong methyl, which is nasa carbon 6 na position siya. So, 6-methyl. So, ipaghalo-halo lang natin sila, or isa lang natin sila. So, 6-methyl 3-octane, or pwede ring 6-methyl oct-3-ine. So, ito yung dating way ng pagpapangalan ng hydrocarbons. And ito na yung bago. Either way, same lang din yan sila. Naming alkynes with multiple triple bonds. The suffix changes according to the number of the triple bond. 2, triple bond, diene. Kapag 3 naman, triene. Kapag 4 naman, tetraene. The position of each triple bond is indicated by a number before the suffix. Number the chain in a way that assigns the lowest possible number to the triple bonds. If they are substituent, number them and place them in the appropriate positions in the name. As you can see, dalawa yung triple bond niya. So first, bilangin natin yung parent chain, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is, ang pangalan niya is but. And after that, indicate natin kung saan ba yung location ng ating alkaline, which is nasa number 1 and number 3. And ang gagamitin natin na suffix dito is diene. If 3 naman yung triple bond, magiging triene, and so on and so forth. So 1,3-diene. And if pagsama natin sila, ang magiging pangalan niya is buta. Meron na siyang A-1,3-diene or 1,3-butadiene. So, ganun lang siya ka-easy. When naming a hydrocarbon that contains both alkene double bond and alkyne triple bond, the parent chain should be chosen based on the following rules. The alkyne triple bond gets priority over alkene double bond when choosing the parent chain. Number the chain so that the triple bond receive the lowest possible number. If the triple bond is equally distant from both ends, number so that the double bond receives the lowest possible number. We have the example here, which is an alkyne molecule, or it's not an alkyne molecule, but it is a hydrocarbon molecule or structure where may alkyne and alkene bonds tayo dito. So, ano mangyayari if naka-encounter tayo ng ganito? So, if ever man na naka-encounter kayo ng ganito, uunahin natin bibilangin yung nasa side ng alkene. Why is that? Kasi parehas sila nasa gilid lang din ng structure. So, if parehas lang din sila nasa gilid ng structure, uunahin natin si alkene na bilangin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And ang parent structure niya, ay ang parent chain niya is papangalanan, is hept. And saan nga ba yung nakalocate yung ating alkene? Which is the number 1. 1N. Yung suffix niya is N. While saan nga ba nakalocate yung ating alkyne? Which is nasa carbon 6, which is 6-ine. So either way, same lang din sila. If gusto nyo pangalanan ng ganito, it's okay, and if ganito naman, it's okay rin. That's all. Okay, another example of hydrocarbon molecule, which is meron siyang alkyne and alkene. So here, kung makikita natin, nasa ibang position na yung alkene natin, and if ever man na magiging ganito, or if ever nasa ibang position din yung alkyne natin, bibilangin natin kung sino sa kanila ang pinaka-lowest number na makukuha. So, if uunahin natin bibilangin yung alkene, which is 1, 2, 2N, while sa alkyne naman natin is 1-ine lang. So, that's why i-choose natin bibilangin yung left side kung saan si alkyne. 6, 7, 8. So, sa longest chain or sa parent chain natin is meron tayong oct. And, i-indicate lang natin dito kung saan yung position ng alkyne natin, which is a 1. And yung position ng alkene natin, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6N. And position ng methyl natin, which is nasa carbon 4. 4-methyl. So, ipagsama-sama natin sila. Ang name niya is 4-methyl dash 6 dash octane dash 1INE. Okay. Mali pang spelling. Isang N lang, guys. Pwede rin pangalanan nyo siya ng 4-methyl oct 6N dash 1IN E. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. Actually, yung example dun sa book is nagkaiba siya dito sa pinakita ko sa inyo kasi nakulangan ako ng isang carbon. That's why, although same lang din sila ng mechanics, pero nakulangan lang ako ng isang carbon. So, as with alkyl and alkenyl substituents derived from the alkanes and alkenes respectively, alkenyl groups are also possible. For example na lang here is butyl, an alkyl group, 1-butenyl, one example of vinylic group, and 1-butenyl, an alkenyl group. On our second topic, which is the preparation of alkynes, elimination reaction of the halides. We can actually prepare our alkynes by elimination of HX, or also known as hydrohalogenation. And in preparation of alkynes, we are actually using a strong base like potassium hydroxide and sodium amide. And during the preparation rin ng alkyne, we are actually doing a E2 elimination, which later on madidiscuss yan. What is dehydrohalogenation? It is an elimination of HX. Kagaya nga dun sa word niya na hydro means hydrogen and halogen is yung X. And itong X na to, or yung halogen or halides, kabilang na dito yung chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So, sa step ng dehydrohalogenation, nangangailangan tayo dito ng strong base kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, katulad ng sodium amide and potassium hydroxide. And sa step 2 naman is yung second halogen is na-eliminated na and forming a triple bond or alkyne. So, bakit nga ba ginagamit yung dehydrohalogenation sa preparation of alkynes? Yung dehydrohalogenation is a key method para sa pagsisynthesis ng alkynes. Nagwo-work siya sa mga vicinal dihalides at sa mga geminal dihalides. Para ma-derive yung reaction, kailangan din natin ng high temperature and yung strong bases, no? So, dahil nga sa dehydrohalogenation, na eliminate yung dalawang halogen and yung hydrogen at nagfo-form ito dahil doon is nagfo-form tayo ng triple bond or ng alkyne. So what is halogenation? Halogenation is the addition of halogen atoms such as bromine and chlorine to an alkyne. So mechanics nito is yung alkyne is magre-react siya sa mga halogen katulad ng bromine and chlorine. So the reaction results in anti-addition or opposite sides of the molecule forming a tetrahalide. In the case of excess halogen, further halogenation can occur, leading to overhalogenation, adding more halogen across the triple bond. So here we have the example of preparation of alkynes, which is the diphenylethylene is converted into diphenylacetylene by reaction and subsequent treatment. So at first, here is when we are dealing with this kind of reaction is magkakaroon talaga tayo ng iso reaction. At first, bakit nga ba? So, okay. So, ito yung original, which is diphenylethylene. In here, it is the example of alkene, which is we need another pi bond para maging alkaline na siya. But that is not possible. It's because it's not possible. It's because to create a pi bond, you need elimination. So by elimination, you need a standard reaction. So we need a leaving group. So in here we have a leaving group of hydrogen. So if this hydrogen or these hydrogen atoms acts as a leaving group, then it will leave 2 electrons and negative charge, a hydride ion, which is a strong base, but it makes a poor leaving group. So we cannot do a direct elimination because we got a poor leaving group. So we need to introduce a 2 leaving group so we can make a 2 pi bonds. And in that, we are gonna use a bromine atom as a source of two leaving group. So ito na yung kabuuan niya. Here nandito yung diphenylethylene natin, and i-add natin yung bromine molecule. So after natin na-add ito siya, is ang product natin ngayon is 1,2-dibromo and 1,2-diphenylethane. Naging alkene na siya. So, sa product natin, kung mapapansin natin, yung product niya is a vicinal dibromide. It means that yung bromide natin is katabi niya lang yung hydrogen natin. So, after that, after natin na-introduce yung bromine and na-add na natin siya sa ating molecule, magsasagawa na tayo ng elimination. So, ito yung mechanism ng E2 elimination. So, here sa E2 elimination, we need a strong base, which is meron tayo ditong potassium hydroxide. And this potassium hydroxide is mag-a-act ito siya as a way na maalis natin yung atoms dito or yung leaving group natin, which is yung hydrogen. So, we have here yung hydroxide natin na galing sa potassium hydroxide. So, yung oxygen natin sa hydroxide, it is a negative charge. So, i-attack niya itong hydrogen natin, yung atom natin na hydrogen. After that, if na-attack niya na sa hydrogen natin, magpo-form siya ng pi bond or ng double bond, which is makikita natin dito. And after that, si bromide natin na sa itaas is ma-eliminate na siya totally. And, of course, ito yung first equivalent natin and yung second equivalent na naman natin. Which is, kaya nga siya tinawag na E2 reaction. It's because dalawang beses siya mag-eliminate. So, again, kaya nga siya 2 potassium hydroxide. Okay, another na naman na elimination, yung hydroxide natin, yung oxygen, is eliminate niya yung hydroxide and magpo-form siya ng another pi bond. And yung natitirang bromine natin dito is totally na-eliminate na siya. So, that's why, ang product natin dito is, meron na tayong alkyne. From alkane, alkene, and alkyne. So, here na yung kabuuan. Yung alkene natin, nag-add tayo ng bromine para makagawa tayo ng another 2 leaving group, which is ina dito si bromine. And after that, isa siyang a vicinal dibromide. And after that, magsasagawa tayo ng E2 reaction, which is yung yung base natin is 2 potassium hydroxide. And after natin na isagawa yung E2 elimination, nawala na si hydrogen and bromine natin. That's why ang kinalabasan niya is a diphenyl acetylene 85% plus meron siyang nag-generate siya ng dalawang H2O, at the same time nag-generate din siya ng potassium bromide. The twofold hydrohalogenation takes place through a vinylic halide intermediate, which suggests that vinylic halides themselves should give alkynes when treated with strong base. Remember, a vinylic substituent is one that is attached to a double bond carbon. This is indeed from the case. For example, we have the Z3-chloro to 2-butane 1-ol is reacted to 2-sodium amide, and the product is 2-butene 1-ol. So, ang mechanics nito is yung sa first elimination, yung sodium amide natin, niremove niya yung hydrogen from the carbon adjacent to the chloro group, and the chlorine is eliminated also, forming an alkene intermediate, which is 2-butene. Hindi lang napakita sa picture. So, second elimination natin is another equivalent of sodium amide. Same mechanics, ni-remove niya yung hydrogen from the carbon adjacent to the newly formed double bond, and the second hydrogen atom is eliminated also, resulting in the formation of the alkyne 2-butene 1-ol. So, in our third topic is all about reaction of alkynes, addition of HX and X2. Addition of HX and X2 to alkynes. Electrophilic addition alkynes reacts with electrophiles like HX and X2 in a manner similar to alkenes. When HX or hydrogen halide is added, the reaction typically results in the addition of one equivalent of HX to the alkyne. However, when an excess of HX is used, it can lead to a dihalide product. Example, 1-hexene with 2 equivalent of HBr forms a 2,2-dibromide hexane. Here, we are doing the Markovnikov rule. So, sa rule nito is the addition follows the Markovnikov rule, okay? Meaning, the hydrogen adds to the less substituted carbon of the alkyne. while the halogen X adds to the more substituted carbon. So sa stereochemistry, the trans-stereochemistry is usually observed where H and X add to opposite sides of the alkyne. However, in some cases, cis addition may also occur. So these are the examples of reactions of alkynes, which is addition of HX and X2. Ang meaning naman ng addition of HX, or this is the dehydrohalogenation, where yung hydro means hydrogen and yung halogen means yung X or yung halide, and pwede do siyang maging chlorine, bromine, and iodine. And also here is sinusundan natin dito yung rules ni Markovnikov. Where yung rule ni Markovnikov in terms of addition of HX or dehydrohalogenation is that yung hydrogen atom is mapupunta siya doon sa less substituted na group of carbon sa isang structure, while yung halogen naman is maa-attach siya doon sa group na more substituted. So, let's take a look of this example number 1, which is we have the 1-hexene. As you can see, yung 1-hexene is example siya ng terminal alkyne, where yung alkyne niya is nasa gilid, nasa pinakagilid. And if i-add natin itong si HBr, which is itong si H is mapupunta siya dito sa group na mas less substituted na carbon group. And also, yung bromine natin is mapupunta siya or ma-attach siya dito sa group ni carbon na mas maraming substituted. That's why naka-form tayo ng isang alkane. And notice is that kung mapapansin natin na yung triple bond natin is after nangyari yung addition of HBr, naging alkane na siya. After the addition of HBr, which is, ito pala yung first equivalent, no? Nakagawa tayo ng isang vinyl halide, which is, isa siyang intermediate na nagko-contain siya ng carbon-to-carbon double bond. And halogen atom is naka-attach siya sa isa sa mga carbon, which is yung bromine natin is naka-attach siya dito sa carbon na ito. So, 2,1-hexene converted into 2-bromo-1-hexene. And magsasagawa na naman tayo ng another addition of HBr or pangalawang equivalence na to. So, ganun pa rin yung process niya, is yung excess ng HBr is magpo-proceed siya further, or same lang din nga siya sa pag-a-add natin nung una dun sa first equivalence. So, after that, after na-add na natin, which is yung isang bromine natin is napunta siya dito sa C na to, which is mas maraming substituted, while yung hydrogen naman is napunta siya dito. So, tatlo na yung hydrogen natin. Kung mapapansin nyo, after ng second equivalence, nakabuo tayo ng isang geminal dihalide. Meaning ng geminal is from the word Gemini, twin. Kasi magkasama yung dalawang atom sa isang carbon. So, how about naman if ang ating alkyne is not terminal? Example sa second example natin dito, which is yung 3-hexyne natin. So, yung addition of HX or yung dehydrohalogenation is fina-follow niya rin dapat yung rule ni Markovnikov rule. So, kapag hindi siya terminal, it means yung both sides ng carbon is isang internal. Okay? First equivalent, which is HCl. Inad siya dito sa ating 3-hexene, which is naka-create tayo ng Z3-chloro 3-hexene. And also, if naka-encounter tayo ng ganito, it's either kung saan mo na siya ilalagay. Pwede mong ilagay yung hydrogen dito or yung chlorine dito. It's either na kasi parehas din silang internal. So, after ng first equivalent, nakabuo tayo ng hexene. And yung excess naman ng ating HCl, almost same lang din siya sa process ng first equivalent natin. Kaya nakabuo tayo dito ng yung halogen natin is dikit sa ating carbon. And at the same time, nakadikit rin yung halogen natin sa this part of the carbon. So, madali lang siya if sundan lang natin yung rule ni Markovnikov. So, what about yung addition of X2 or yung halogenation? Actually, yung third example natin is one of the example of halogenation. Halogenation of alkynes. It involves the addition of halogen, which is the bromine or chlorine, across the carbon-to-carbon triple bond of alkyne. So, yung halogenation process generally results in addition of 2 halogen atoms, which is yung X2 nga, to the alkyne. So, forming a dehalogenated product. So, first is, meron tayo ditong 1-butene. And i-add natin dito si bromine, which is yung halogen natin. So, yung first equivalent of bromine is i-add natin siya sa 1-butane. So, yung triple bond is magre-react siya dito sa halogen natin na si bromine. And, binibreak niya yung triple bond ng ating alkyne. And, nag-lead dito siya sa formation ng cis-alkene intermediate, which is 1,2-dibromo-1-butane. And after nung bromine natin na nag-add siya sa across the triple bond, yung addition is nagha-happen siya in anti-fashion. So, what do you mean by anti-fashion? Meaning, yung dalawang bromine natin dito is nasa opposite side sila. As you can see, yung halogen natin na bromine is nasa opposite side siya ng isa pa nating halogen. And after that, magsasagawa na naman tayo ng pangalawang equivalence ng Br2. And of course, naka-form na tayo ng cis-alkene intermediate. Mag-a-undergo naman tayo ng second addition ng halogen or nung Br2 natin across this double bond. And yung second addition natin is magre-result siya sa tetrahalide or geminaldehyde halide. As you can see naman, tetrabromobutane. Where yung each carbon of the former triple bond is now bonded to 2 bromine atoms. Yung dalawang carbon natin is bonded na siya sa tigda-dalawang bromine. That's why naging tetrabromobutane na siya. So, ganun lang din kasimple yung process ng halogenation. The mechanism of alkyne addition is similar but not identical to that of alkene addition. When electrophile such as HBr adds to an alkene, the reaction takes place on two steps and involves an alkyl carbocation. If HBr were to add by the same mechanism to an alkyne, an analogous vinylic carbocation would be formed as the intermediate. Although yung mechanics ng dalawang hydrocarbon is almost the same lang din sila, but yung product nila is magkaiba. A vinylic carbocation or carbocation, but I'm gonna pronounce it or read it as carbocation, no? Has an sp hybridized carbon and generally forms less readily than an alkyl carbocation. As a rule, a secondary vinylic carbocation forms about as readily as primary alkyl carbocation. But a primary vinylic carbocation is so difficult to form that there is no clear evidence it even exists. Thus, many alkyne addition occur through more complex mechanistic pathways. That is the reason kung bakit yung mechanism ng addition ng alkyne is complex or difficult or complicated siya. So, that is all for today's topic. I hope na may na-learn kayo and naintindihan nyo yung topic ko. If ever man na may part sa topic ko na hindi nyo naintindihan, please i-chat nyo lang ako and I try my best to explain to you. And that is all for today. Thank you for listening and goodbye.